Oh, hello. Where was I now? You and I school. And before I explain the levels of I school, let me ask one question. How can I help you? Students, how can I help you? As your probationary imaginary teacher, let me start by telling you what I can do for you. I imagine, let's say, 10 students, voluntary students in our own little world, whereby I will listen to you, give you advice only if requested, and in the meantime, I will continue to write my blogs with the intention to support you students and only you students. I will share my tips and tricks on surviving the institutional state of education such as it is today. I will work for you, beside you, and behind you, but I'm not your leader. I will not tell you what to do. I think you've had enough of that. I will tell you what I can do for you, perhaps, if you let me. You want a wicked cool argument to defend a position? I can do that. Need help articulating a thought? I can do that. In 2020, I was ready for a change. I needed time to think and time to get away from school in order to evaluate it, study it. I wanted time to make myself a better person, the kind of person that I would want if I went to my own school, which is iSchool. And I want to be a better person for me, and I want to be a better person so that I can be better for you, students. It's time, and I've planned and lived my own version of iSchool. Oh yeah, I've planned and lived my own version of iSchool starting in 2020 to 2025. My goal was 2025. Sorry, my goal was 2025. And 4 years later, it's 2024. I'm at the end of iSchool project. So I had iSchool project 2020, 2021, 2022. It's now project 2024, which means my goal next year, as I set up, is project. Yeah, it's an unfortunate coincidence. Maybe more on that later. Now, I have social media accounts. Actually, students set them up for me, and I've never really used it. So I'm going to link my pages to inewson.org. And here's where I'd like to start. You know, a Facebook page devoted to just one thing, which is you and students, my own imaginary school. Remember, I will work beside you, behind you, and for you. So, how can I help you today? Let me know, but first, one must be discreet. Do not talk about iSchool. Rationale is as soon as you start talking to others, it takes time away from your internal dialogue. It takes time away from your goals, like what you want, which is the whole purpose of this. So here's my nervousness. Former students, any former students of Miss Newson or Store, if you go way back when, knowing me, knowing you, knowing me, and wanting to help, what do you think I can do? You know, Miss Newson from like way back when, are there topics, are there lessons, are there tips that you can think of specifically from my class? I don't know, you tell me. What I'm thinking is we can just spread this word on social media. Again, just keep it down. This is just between you and me. But any former students I'm hoping to get in touch with so that you can help me helping these kids today. So former students ideally, or folks who know me and know who I am, help me. This is a side note. I am completely and totally serious about this project. It's consumed my life in the best of ways. Wanting to help kids and to be helped. And two things to consider if what social media's passed along. Predictably, I may hear something like, "What can I do? Give me money." No, I can't do that. Change the laws so that we don't have to do this. I can't do that either. And quite frankly, I'm really tired of talking to adults who just don't see the direction that I'm going in, which is kind of this quiet, silent revolution just for kids. And it's not a revolution in a negative way. It just means change. So how can I help? I have no interest in any kind of popularity. I don't nor want flattery. I just want serious advice. And if you ask a serious question, I will consider it and give you a serious answer. It's so funny. I seek advice from, I think, the one group of people who I think knows me the best, and that's students. So, I Newson, I am ready. Let's spread this on social media just to give me some advice and so that I can help kids. And so, in conclusion, how can I help? Ciao for now. All right, I'm totally winging this one. I don't even have a script, so we'll see how this goes. What my idea has been these past 4 years, I call the 10 and 10 program or project. And so if you can count to 10, you're in. And there's a little bit of a trick in psychology for people who want to memorize things, which has slowly kind of evolved into this. The trick is you count to 10, and like 1 is the sun, and you imagine like the sun. And so if you need to memorize something, you just go in order. You associate that memory with the sun as something that rhymes. Does that make sense? Well, my 10 and 10 program is just this. Just count to 10 so that you always have something to focus on. Starting with 0 is at some point when you just say, I've had enough. I'm done with my life as it's currently going, especially in education. And that doesn't mean to quit school. I don't see that that's any feasible possibility. And I mean, unless you're out of school, and then in that case, come on aboard. iSchool, it's nice here. So 0, it'd be like I've just had enough of something, whatever that is. For me, it was school. And then starting at number one for me was saying yes to something else, saying yes to something that's more life affirming. Is that too hokey? 2 is talk. Like, just think about what conversations you're having. Who's controlling those conversations? Why are you talking about the things you're talking about? And really what's more important about number 2, which is talk, is what are you not talking about? What are you consuming your time with? And then what are you leaving out, just even in conversations? 3, like the 3 little pigs, build. Are you going to have weak conversations? Like those of straw? Are they manipulated, flexible, or just pointless? Are you defensive, like the house of sticks? Or are you going to slowly build bricks one at a time, 1 through 10? Yep. 4 truths, you're going to die. I've always kind of wanted to start off class like that because it's just so true. You are going to die. So what do you want to... That's actually not even the question. You're going to die, but the question is, how do you choose to live? With what we have now, not with these expectations that something's going to out there happen and that's going to magically fix your world. iSchool is the opposite. It's building you up. So truths, you are going to die, but you're alive right now. What should we do with this time? Number 5, you have the right to remain silent. And that's seen as, like, on TV. I've never had the Miranda rights read to me personally, but it's... I thought about taking a little twist on that. You have the right to remain silent, meaning you don't have to share your head with everybody just because somebody asks. You can keep some of these thoughts to yourself, especially if they're working for you. And sometimes I feel like when we talk about stuff, it just gets other people's perspectives come in, and then it pulls us back. So silence. 6 is kind of where I'm at right now, which is balance or lack of balance in our lives. So 1 through 10, that's all iSchool is I just have a little notebook, and the stuff that I want to learn, the more I do this year after year, the more I do this, the more it kind of becomes my daily routine, and not just like an extravagance, like something like, oh, you get this luxury to sleep and have time to yourself. So 1 through 10, and then just keep repeating. So you're going to have, what do you want at the end? Write down your wants. Where are you right now? What are your needs today? Every morning when you wake up, you can say, what's something that I can do for myself today? In a positive way. Because I see it like this too. If you're in school or ditching or whatever, that school is controlling so much of your time and your conversation. Think about how much you talk about school. And then we're so overwhelmed that we leave and then find other activities to just, not to just go live because it just is so draining, but we find other activities to just check out. You know what I mean? And that is the opposite of iSchool. We don't want to check out, we want to check in, but that's a really hard thing to do, I think, in this world, in this kooky world today. So let's just have some fun with it. So like I said, I started with 1 through 10. You want something that you can talk about that's going to help you, even if it's just for 20 minutes a day, an hour a day is I time. Meaning you can have your time back and then think about what would you want to talk about, or not at all. The power of silence is really going to help us in iSchool. So anyway, there's my winging it. I'm just going to keep on going. Ciao. So I did get a request from a student that I was speaking with the other day who requested something to physically do with iSchool. Meaning, you know, they hear conversations like, just do your best, just get over it. Those conversations are not very helpful, according to the student. I agreed. So the request was, with iSchool, what's something physically I can do? So number 1, get a notebook. Write down your legacy, what you want. At the end, at the beginning, write down your ideal schedule. So there's 2 things. Number 3, start to write down conversations that you'd want to have. Even if you physically, like conversation cards, write down word for word. Here's what I would want to say. What do you want to talk about? That gets us away from the conversations that are so dominating our education system and our conversations now. 4, I'd say just write down those truths, your own truths, whether you agree with mine or not. What are some truths that you can stick by? Again, just write those down. 5 is going to be tough. Practicing silence. I think that's going to be a real tricky one, but let's just kind of have some fun with that. Don't be offensive, because you don't want attention to be drawn to you. In iSchool, we're kind of just very low. We're kind of under the radar. We don't want to draw a lot of attention so that we have more time to focus on the I. So silence is a big one. Balance. Well, that's going to be my video next week, which is talking about triangles and shapes. 7 are just choices. If you want to just write down, I just came up with 7 sins and virtues. Just go with what you know. You know, if you don't know what to do, do what you know. And then I thought about that as a spectrum. If you look at the 7 virtues or 7 sins, where are you in the middle of that, honestly? And only you can answer that. But what are some choices that you could make? For example, one of the first things I did in my own iSchool was to just figure out ways to self-soothe so that I don't get so, I'm kind of an anxious person. So ways that I can calm myself down. Eating has been a real challenge for me, I think, since I was about 9. So that's the first thing I really wanted to get a hold of, get sleep, which really helped. And for me personally, it was to get ordered eating. And that was a real fun thing to do. I just took an online class, like a nutrition class. It was self-paced. And I haven't had really food issues since. I just needed time and space to figure out what I wanted. So that's just my example. Strengths and values. I'll get to that, but I think another thing you can do is have 10 songs in a playlist. Just pick 10, maybe random songs. The 10 songs I picked to kind of calm myself down, I keep playing that playlist over and over again because auditorily, it gets my head in that space of this is your time, I time. Just listening to stuff, clothes, colors, smells, any physical thing that you can do, especially in reference to your senses. Once you kind of get like, this is what I wanted to do, my direction, even though I'm still stuck in school, I'm going to have a direction laid out in your notebook, a school just for you, created by you. And so again, 10 songs, get your notebook. And then just a fun thing if you want to do just for tonight, go find Polaris. Just the star. If you want to share with somebody like, hey, I found Polaris. If not, just go find it. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to do anything. Just go find Polaris. Gives you something to do and then something to think about later. Yeah? Okay, ciao for now.